It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
What is going on, Lake of the Ozarks? It's time to get caffeinated on a cup of coffee with Will and Chris from Slumberland at the Lake. And Chris, probably a lot of heartbreak right now for this area after the Chiefs game Sunday.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
That was bad. That was really bad.
Sad. I mean, we found out just how human Patrick Mahomes can be, and a lot of questions heading into the offseason for the Chiefs.
What a roller coaster ride. The week before, when they win miraculously, right? Mm-hmm. And then this, where they had the game won, they were up.
You had to bring up last week?
Yeah, they beat the Bills.
Yeah, we're aware. Everybody in the world's aware.
And then this game where you have the game won, you're running away with it, and then somehow you just go away. I mean, they just stop playing.
We'll talk about that. Really cool. Yeah. Myrick Coyle, Rusty Williams Performance Boat Center headed to the Hall of Champions. It is the most prestigious award in the powerboat industry. We'll talk about that. Some local awards handed out from Lower Deck. All 5 recipients, very deserving.
Yep.
Big-time players. We'll talk about, is there going to be enough boats this summer? Man, the market's on fire.
They've had a hard time just keeping enough boats around the last couple of years. They've been running out of boats.
And just off the Overland Park Boat Show, and I talked to some of our friends, including Brendan West from Marine Concepts, said best show they've ever had, hands down.
Wow.
So it is popping in the boating industry. So we'll talk about, will there be enough boats to meet the demand? Some other cool stories. And of course, we're going to look back at President Biden's first year in office. Is it a success? Pretty easy answer. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more. But first, a message from our friends right here at Slumberland.
Hey everyone, Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. We've started our President's Day sale and we have some awesome deals in our mattress gallery. Come check out our new way of buying and selling mattresses. You won't be disappointed. Get great discounts, get up to 5 years interest-free financing on orders $1,200 or more. Come see us at Slumberland Furniture at the Lake, where we're bringing happy home.
That's right, right here, Slumberland at the Lake. You'll find everything you need for your house, whether it's your lake house or your full-time residence. They rock here, don't they?
Oh, man, they're the greatest. I mean, if you come to your house or my house, Slumberland, baby, it's beautiful.
That's why I got a great night's rest last night. All right, so our first story is kind of confusing if you're not a powerboat or speedboat person. But this is what is the most prestigious award in the industry, the Hall of Champions.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with it because we sponsored Jim Simmons' boat a few years ago for a couple of the APA or OPA sanctioned races. And Jim Simmons, Jason Zolecki, my buddy, who was throttling for him, that was what their goal was. If you win first in every one of the races and you have enough points and you qualify, I mean, I don't even know what it takes, but you want to be in the Hall of Champions. And for locals, Myrick Coyle and Rusty Williams with Performance Boat Center, they are officially in the Hall of Champions. This according to Speed on the Waters, Matt Trulio. Pretty darn cool.
Yeah, absolutely. This is in Orlando, Florida, the American Powerboat Association. So they have their national meetings every year, right? So that was just underway. And they have a myriad of different awards. Like you said, unless you're a boat person and you know all the different things going on, it's really kind of hard to keep up with it all. But among the offshore racers, Myrick Coyle, who most of us know because he's a Lake of the Ozark guy and he's a shootout Hall of Famer and he's a boat driver and everything, and Rusty Williams. So they are in the, they won last year's American Powerboat Association Union Super Stock Class World Championship. Right?
Which is not the Hall of Champions. That's where it gets confusing.
I know. It's like
they won the World Championship for their class, but you can win the World Championship and not get in the Hall of Champions because there's a lot of things. You have to be at every race. You have to place within a certain tier, a certain level, and that's hard to do. So just trying to kind of clarify because it gets so confusing.
It really does. I mean, and then you get all the sponsors, you know, that you got to get in. So you just, but so they represent Performance Boat Center, going in basically to the Hall of Champions, and just another huge honor for not just Myrick Coyle, but the whole performance team. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, they're just Brett Manier and the whole people, Mark Waddington over there, just awesome.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Rusty Williams, man, he's really busted onto the scene the last few years for performance with this Superstock Go Fast boat. Pretty cool, the fuel systems. Now, what's cool about this for Coyle, because he's been involved in offshore racing for 22 years, and Dave Scott back in the Bud boat was his protege.
Yeah.
And so then he's also raced with the likes of Johnny Tomlinson. And I mean, the guy is unbelievable. And for as accomplished as he is, he's the most down-to-earth, average Joe you'd ever meet, and I still fanboy over him because he's locally super cool.
Yeah.
And he is so accomplished, and he can add this to his resume. And he said, I've been getting Propeller Magazine, which is the APBA's in-house produced publication. He said, for 22 years, but I've never been around this new class and all these racers before. When they called him up to speak last week, he got up and said, I don't know any of you, but this is really cool, because he saw a 7-year-old girl with this new class. They call it the J-Class Hydro Racers. 7-year-old girl gets out there, competes in her class, and goes up in a dress on stage to get her award. And he said, it's pretty cool. My wife, Missy, and I want to get a J-Class Hydro for their kids. They'd throw rocks at their jet ski if they had a race boat. He said, and I'm really glad I was there for this honor, and I'm honored to be recognized for being really good at what I do, and I'm so excited about it. One day, maybe 20 years from now, when my kids are 30, they'll say, my dad's in the Hall of Champions.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm sure they will, too.
And I think that's really the coolest part of it. It's really nice. The accolades are nice now and the attention and stuff, but it really is cool to know that your kids someday will go, man, my dad was really special. Or,
yeah.
I mean, that's pretty awesome.
And he still makes a ton of time for his family, and so they already think he's special, but it's just another reason. All right, so our next story, Lake of the Ozarks Regional Economic Development Council hands out their annual awards. You got Small Business Partner of the Year, Large Business Partner of the Year, Emerging Venture of the Year, Business Person of the Year, and Employee of the Year. And I'll tell you what, Lordeck knocked it out of the park this year. Their selections were spot on. We look at Small Business Partner, Ozarks Amphitheater, Mary Kay Von Brindle. Over the last 6 years, this business, this venture, this establishment and venue have done some amazing things. They were recently named number 5 for Best Live Music Venue in the state of Missouri, according to Best Things Mo. So congratulations to Mary Kay, to Dustin, to Tom. Their owners, just pretty awesome. Go ahead.
It's amazing how much they've grown over the years,
Nuts,
right?
right?
I mean, just talking to Mary Kay and Tom, they used to have 3 or 4 concerts a year, and I think last year they had what was it, 12 or 15 or
like 17,
just
and
keep
they're
getting-
going to have 25 or more this year, and we're going to be the official announce partner for every one of those concerts. You'll be able to find out right here on Lake TV before anywhere else, and when tickets go on sale. And 25, that's just nuts.
Did you get your season tickets, by the way?
I did, yeah.
All right.
Lake TV's got 7 season tickets in the first 4 rows. That second section over. So I can't wait to start hearing some of these announces and making plans for me, Unique, you, and Aunt Michelle to go catch some music at the best place in the state of Missouri.
If you haven't been there yet, you got to check that out. Amphitheater is greatness.
All right, so another one who just a huge player, we talked about it a few weeks ago, is Quaker Windows.
Yeah.
They win the Large Business Partner of the Year, and they're currently going through this huge expansion, numerous additional jobs for the lake area, and the location of it outside of Eldon is so big because you're drawing interest to Versailles, to Eldon, as well as like Jefferson City, the Lake of the Ozarks, Osage Beach, Camdenton, and that's pretty cool. Large Business Partner of the Year, Quaker Windows, very deserving. Another one that we know and love, the Emerging Venture of the Year, was Sonny's Marina, established in January of 21. This place is incredible. The first place I know at the lake, you can rent and stay on a boat like an Airbnb or hotel.
Yeah, they call it a boatel.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of it before, and it's like, what's a boatel? So it's a boat hotel, basically.
And it's amazing. They also have a full-service marina. They've got a bar and grill on the water. They do some pretty unorthodox, outside-the-box things there. So congratulations to Sonny's Marina. Next award, the Business Person of the Year. No questions here. Couldn't ask the guy to do more for the community, whether it's building a new establishment, cleaning up the strip, donating the parking to the city of Lake Ozark. George Tucker is the Business Person of the Year, and very well deserved. From all of his restaurants with Paradise, Neon Taco, Tucker Shuckers, Sushi Monkey or Malted Monkey, and of course the Sky Zone. And he's probably not done as far as his ventures and what he's going to do. But you ever been to a George Tucker establishment and not had a great meal?
No, every time. Greatness. I mean, just, and they're all so varied, whether it's Paradise, Tucker Shuckers, or what's
Neon
the place?
Taco.
I mean, yeah, it's just amazing. And I don't know that I've ever met George. I got to get him on the spotlight show.
Got to.
Yeah.
And he is so down to earth as well. So another very deserving award. And then here's one, a person that I would die to have on our team. She is the greatest media sales lady, the most passionate about your business at the Lake area, the Employee of the Year, our friend Barbara Bunch with Viper Communications. She's been incredible, and no one works harder for their clients. I mean, the woman's up at 4 a.m. writing copy, sending over proposals, trying to find ways to help businesses. So Barbara, if you're watching, first and foremost, congratulations. And secondly, come join the good guys, because we're ready for you.
That's right.
Come on
we got
over
place
here.
for you.
We got KB too. We know you missed that guy. But congratulations to all of these recipients. I think when you look at the lake, where we're headed, these 5, whether it's these 3 businesses or these 2 individuals, are some of the pioneers and leaders of how the lake's developed and growing and what direction we're headed. So congrats to all of them. And I think Lord Deck really nailed it this year.
I do too. And, they've been around doing this for a while, and we've seen a lot of the growing pains at the lake the last year. We're getting bigger and bigger. Everybody knows about the Lake of the Ozarks, and that brings some problems with it. It's great when you have these foundationally good business people that just maintain the integrity of the area.
Absolutely, man. All right, next local story. So with all the growth and interest in Lake of the Ozarks, we know there's been a boat shortage, a lot of boat shows canceled, not enough inventory for a lot of our marine dealers. So Lake Expo raised the question, will there be enough boats?
Right, big question, good question, because they did have to cancel all those. I think every one of the in-water boat shows last year was canceled, I think. A lot of the boat shows that happen right now have been canceled, and the main reason is they just don't have enough boats. Right? Why have a boat show if you don't have any boats to show? So they asked some of the folks around here, like Kellysport Marina, and I think basically, Kyle said it's not as good as what we wanted, talking about 2022. Because they were really hoping to pile up the boats. Right. He says it's not as good as we wanted, but we are better than last year. So I think they're making progress. They're pumping out boats. And a lot of times they're at the mercy of the manufacturer to get the boats, right? Because the manufacturer can only make so many, and they decide where they're going to send them to sell. And Lake of the Ozarks is one of the biggest places.
Yeah, and there's also a shortage as far as materials for these manufacturers. Their demand is higher than ever before, and they're trying to keep up and keep staff, and then you have the shortage of materials, so it's been hard. I think we're starting to see that be caught up on, and so as Kyle Kelly says, it's going to be better this year than it was last year, but I don't think any marina or boat dealer down here is struggling to move products right now.
Yeah, not at all, no. Rick Ball, who is Steve Brink, owns 5 boat dealerships at the lake, kind of big powers, right? Formula Boats, Yacht Club, Power Sports, IMG, Marty's Marine, and Premier 54. They say they're optimistic about the inventory in 2022. Says it won't be like last year. Ball told Lake Expo he expects his business will have plenty of boats to sell. So that's good news. When you have 5 dealerships and you're good, then that's good for the Lake of the Ozarks.
And I'll tell you, man, Ball and Brink, they got some buying power, not just in boats and cars. I mean, those guys big time players. And they probably do have some influence with some of these manufacturers because of the amount that they buy and move for these guys. So hopefully if you're in the market for a boat, you should have some options and inventory should be picking back up. All right, so things are crazy for many different reasons right now, and maybe you're struggling just a little bit and maybe you need a little help with some rent assistance. Well, it's cool because there's a local food pantry. Share the Harvest that's here to help. They received a $25,000 ARPA funding from Camden County to assist families with rental assistance. Now, residents can come to Share the Harvest in Greenview and receive an application that must be filled out and returned. Now, don't get carried away. You're not going to be getting $1,000, but hey, this could make a difference. After verification and requested information, residents may qualify for a one-time assistance payment of $250 per household, which could make a ton of difference. If you had $250 more to go towards groceries or another bill or tennis shoes for your kids' sports, whatever that would be, that could go a long way. And if that's you out there, assistance will be issued in the form of a check and made payable to the landowner, lease agent, landlord, or mortgage holder. You can come to Share the Harvest, like I said, in Greenview, down 7. Pick up a form, or you can call Shayna Abishan at 573-873-5855. Shayna Abishan, the executive director, she was on What's Burning last week with KB, and they're doing some great things. And so the initiative for Share the Harvest to go out and get this grant money so they can be diligent and then facilitate that to the families here that need that most. Great job by Shayna and her staff out there at Share the Harvest.
Absolutely. You know, that's another thing that makes our area so special. Share the Harvest is magnificent, wonderful, but there's several places like that. Community for Christ in Lori is one. There's the Camdenton Free Store. That's another. I know that you've had them on your Nonprofit of the Month show. So there are these places in the area to help out. Just do, you know, a little bit of research, but this is a magnificent opportunity if needed. So.
Absolutely. Now, our final local story, really cool one. Bald eagle, our national bird, pretty majestic.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty overwhelming if you went down to the creek or the river and you saw a bald eagle laying on the surface of the water. Well, that's exactly what happened right here in the Ozarks. The Ozark Region Protection Captain Gerald Smith responded to a landowner who found an eagle that was unable to fly. Smith responded and was able to safely capture the eagle. These pictures you see here are courtesy of LakeExpo.com. The eagle had no apparent injuries, and Smith called the Dickerson Park Zoo Hospital in Springfield. Now, if the Dickerson Park Zoo in Springfield sounds familiar, you've probably seen their work through Eagle Days. Of course, they're always on display. And after a day of monitoring the eagle, they transport it to the hospital. Drew some blood, and the eagle was determined to have lead, so it's got lead poisoning. Now, this is what's weird. Before transporting the eagle to the hospital, Smith stopped by the Richards kindergarten through 8th grade school in West Plains and gave an eagle presentation in the 3rd and 4th grade classes.
I thought that was weird too. You got this sick eagle and you're taking it to, well, you know, but.
On the way to save your life with lead poisoning, let's show the kids what's going on here. Now, they do great work, and I'm sure they knew they had this window, but at first glance, I'm thinking, man, you're rushing this eagle to the hospital with lead poisoning. Let's stop off and have a little show and tell.
With the kids, I thought the same thing when I read that. I thought, wow, that's interesting.
I had to beat you to it. I knew you'd probably say something. Now, so great work by the Missouri Department of Conservation and Gerald Smith. To report incidents like this, you can call your local Missouri Department of Conservation office or your local agent. You can also go to mdc.mo.gov online. They got tons of resources there. But you imagine going down to the river or the creek or whatever it would be, and you just see this bald eagle laying on the surface.
Yeah, I know, and they're big too. I mean, these are not small birds. These are huge. So yeah, that would be really cool. And I guess, you know, they're wild animals, so you don't want to just go and, you know, whatever. It was good to call the MDC, the agent, come over to do that. So, but that would be pretty cool, really. Like Eagle Days, that is so cool to go see those big, huge birds, you know, and the owls too. I love owls, you know. So
and Unique's always, like, we were driving over the weekend, and every time you see a hawk or any kind of bird, she goes, "Is that an eagle? That an eagle?" You know, you're always wanting to see an eagle, and they're hard to miss once you do see one. So on to sports and national headlines. Of course, we know what happened with the Kansas City Chiefs, up 21-3 after the first half, only to see the Bengals outscore them 21-3 in the second half. And then, of course, you guys know what happened in the overtime session. And the stats were essentially the same, from first downs, total plays, yards per play, passing yards, rushing yards. The difference was the 2 turnovers. You know, the 2 turnovers, the first interception for Mahomes after halftime was costly. And then, of course, how interesting or ironic that interception to start overtime was 13 seconds into overtime. Cincinnati, of course, you know, they'd go on to win on the right foot of rookie Evan McPherson. And that kid is unbelievable.
Yeah, he's been greatness for the Bengals. I could not believe the Chiefs blew that game.
Right.
I mean, that was just so disgusting. And then you hear Coach Reed and Patrick Mahomes talking after the game. They were asked, well, what did Cincinnati do different in the second half? Because they shut you guys down. And both of them said, oh, they really didn't do anything different. And I'm thinking, well, then what the heck happened?
Right.
Right? I mean, did you guys just go to sleep and not show up?
It's like they didn't come back out of the locker room.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of criticism about the way they handled the end of the first half.
Yeah, they blew that.
They had a goal-to-go situation with 5 seconds left, no timeouts. So you either kick the field goal there, you go up 24-3, which now everyone, of course, says was the right decision. They tried the swing pass to Tyreek Hill. He was stopped, and then they only go into the half with an 18-point lead. And I'm kind of like on the other side of that as far as when do you argue with Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill? Because if they score that touchdown and go up 28-3 at the break, everyone's hunky-dory, everything's good, right? But Cincinnati made a huge stop, got some momentum, and for as bad as the Chiefs look, can't take away Coach Taylor, Joe Burrow, and what Cincinnati is able to do.
No, happy for them. I'm pulling for them in the Super Bowl. I hope Cincinnati wins it. But, it was more than the fact that them going for it. It was the stupidity of the way they did it. You would think they'd be smarter than that. If you've got 4 seconds on the clock, you don't throw it out to the side.
Flat.
You're going to run out of time, dude. So get the snap, throw it in the end zone. If you score a touchdown, great. If you don't, you still got time for the field goal.
Right.
I mean, you got to use your brain, man.
Yeah.
So that's what was on. But when that happened, when they blew that, you just kind of got the feeling, oh, man, something's wrong here, right?
Well, Mahomes doesn't have the lead in
No.
the AFC Championship game. He
Yeah.
had never had a 10-point lead in the first half. He always is playing from behind. And Andrew was over, we were watching it with my family, and I said,
Andrew is your family,
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
I mean, he's like your brother.
True. And it was just weird because you get a sense, man, once they get that lead, they almost become unengaged. It's like it's not the same team. And as you started to see Cincinnati chip away at that, you just felt like, is it going to take Cincinnati taking the lead towards the end if Kansas City's going to wake up? And then after they tied it and it went to overtime, because they also botched the opportunity to win it in regulation.
Absolutely.
Mahomes running around, and I'm not going to be critical of Patrick Mahomes because that guy is legit. But I'm telling you, you lose 18 yards, you fumble. Thank the Lord for you. Your lineman jumps on it, and then it takes a Harrison Butker 49-yard field goal just to force overtime.
That didn't even look like Patrick Mahomes.
No, it was
in the second half
paid
and in
off?
overtime.
Was it paid off?
I don't know. You never know. With the way things are going today, it makes you wonder. But no, he just didn't show up in that second half.
Super Bowl Sunday, Sunday, February 13th. Bengals versus the Rams in LA. I hate Los Angeles. I hate everything about Los Angeles. But I do love Matt Stafford. Yeah. I'd love to see him get a Super Bowl ring. But I've got Cincinnati, same score they beat the Chiefs by, 27-24 over the Rams. I think Burrow gets it done, and he's going to be special. Before we go on to our one-year review, I want to give a shout-out to a local basketball team.
Yeah.
Chris, the Max Creek girls team are 16-2 and ranked 7th in the state of Missouri in their class. They're fresh off an Osceola tournament championship over the weekend. Their head coach, Ron Dugan, you guys know him from Shootout, Captain Ron, Sunrise title, of course. His daughter, Brooklyn, is just playing out of her mind. They've got a couple other young girls. And they're underclassmen. 2 freshmen, a sophomore that's starting for them, and they're just beating up schools they're not even supposed to be competing with.
That's Max Creek?
16-2, 7th in the state.
Nice.
Their dates with that district tournament, man, if they win that district championship, they got a shot to contend for a state championship this year.
Could be a Final Four appearance.
So, it would be unbelievable what Ron Dugan's done in Max Creek. And what's crazy is he's middle school, high school, freshman, JV, boys, girls, everything. And not like he doesn't have enough going on as it is. All right, so as we move ahead, January 21st was officially the 1-year anniversary of President Biden and his administration's run. And let's talk about how it's going. Chris, I'm going to give you 30 seconds before I dig in because I got to keep you on a leash with this. You might go on for days. 30 seconds. Let me hear you.
Terrible. I think he is the worst president in the history of the United States. I think he and his whole coalition are trying to change America. I think they're trying to change it for the worst, go to communism and all that good stuff. They're trying to force people to do what people don't want to do, which you see in the vaccine mandates and all that stuff. They're trying to drive businesses out of business.
Right.
It's just been horrible, horrific, horrendous, and it's just 1 year. It's we're in some pretty scary times.
No doubt, it's not. It seems almost like a fairy tale. You would think with the way they're handling, Russia and Ukraine, a nightmare that this is playtime, and it's not. So I would say 1 year probably not good. COVID-19 Omicron variant is running rampant, shutting down businesses, ruining school years for our kids. People are dying. Vaccinated, non-vaccinated. Our economy is in shambles. Inflation's at as high as it's been in 40 years. And it's increasing monthly at an alarming rate with no signs of slowing down. The IRS is nowhere to be found. Millions
weaponized
tax returns from 2020 not done yet. They're going to be in big trouble. Crime, violence, suicides, division, worse than it's ever been before, not to mention the crisis going on at the border. What's going on in Canada, and I don't mean Communist Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Unbelievable, this guy.
Yeah.
Won't get into that. What I mean is the truckers in Canada who are standing more firmly for American liberties and freedoms than our own supposed leaders right here in America.
Yeah.
Approval ratings are through the floor, not the roof. You see, even the left can't stand this administration and realize what's going on right now. And they ran on one thing and one thing alone. That's that we're going to unite these parties. We're going to restore faith in humanity in America. And we're going to do so by being nice and not saying mean words. Yet the hot mic moments and the records of not so nice words are out of control. Yet the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, who said she wouldn't run again when her current term ends at the end of 2023, just announced her bid for re-election ahead of midterms, and yippee, she had this to say.
When people ask me what are the three most important issues facing the Congress, I always say the same thing. Our children, our children, our children. Their health, their education, the housing and economic security of their families, a clean, safe environment in which they can thrive, and a world at peace and where they are all welcome and in which they can reach their fulfillment.
Children, children, children.
What are you drinking there, Nancy?
Just a little juice. Brilliant. Wow. What a train wreck. And I do want to start by saying here how amazing you look, Nancy Pelosi. I mean, who knew that 81 years of an all-vodka diet, punting small unborn children across Catholic church altars would lead to the most beautiful Michael Jackson doppelganger we've ever seen. Unbelievable. And at the age of 81 decides, I think I'm going to do this again because I haven't created enough havoc in office. Just unbelievable.
Pretty scary, isn't it? Pretty scary.
And it was pretty spot on though, right?
Right, absolutely. Dead on. Can I see more of that Nancy impersonation there?
Well, she's had so much work done. She has a hard time talking, and when
she does. Well, I think she's half drunk.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of these before breakfast, and during your.
I think she's hammered half the time.
It's pretty good,
if not more than half the time. Ooh, what's in there, Nancy? Was that a big vodka there?
Unbelievable. It's hard to watch, honestly, and it does get comical almost because it's so sad that people believe this.
Yeah.
And what is she going to rerun on? Like what has she accomplished or done that's going to force people or make people want to vote for Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House?
Do you think this country will stand up at some point against what's going on?
I pray. I certainly pray that is the case. So, got to talk about what's happening on Lake TV, Lake TV Community Spotlight Show. I love that show. Excited to announce Central Ozarks Medical Center is partnering with us to be the title sponsor of that show. Great guest, Kathy Wiesen from the FCA on This Week. Get ready for the annual FCA Banquet and Team Drive on Monday, March 7th. It's going to be awesome. We love that event.
Yeah, absolutely. FCA does so many great things in the community. Kathy Wiesen, such an amazing person. And she works like in, I don't know how many schools it is. It's like 30 schools or something. She's busy all the time. So check out the Community Spotlight Show at 9, 3, and 7. Kathy Wiesen will tell us more about FCA and the banquet coming up and everything.
Can't wait for that. Of course, what's burning this week, we'll have Bill Cass, Iron Eagle Tactical Gun Safety Series on the trail with Bill Mulder and furry friends at Ozarks Cat and Canine. Pretty cool. High school basketball season, Coach's Show airing right now with Eldon coach Nathan Caudell.
Yep.
And Friday, if it doesn't get canceled because all this crazy snow,
Yep.
they're calling for, we'll have Versailles at Osage. And even if we don't have that game, 3 games next week.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Gonna be crazy. Can't wait for that, folks. Thanks for tuning in. I want to give a big shout out to Jill Ray, Daryl Cunningham, and their amazing crew. They're doing so many deliveries today, preparing for this snowstorm. You know,
Yeah.
we record on Tuesdays. They're all hands on deck, gonna be crazy. Shout out to them, our amazing crew. Until next week, this is Uncle Chris. I'm Wild Will. See you then.